welcome back to the BiGDUG studios this Wednesday lunchtime. So if you're joining us on your lunch break, welcome. Otherwise, let's take a little seat on the mat. So we're going to start down on the floor today then. So crossing the ankles if that feels comfortable. If not, you can just stretch the feet out in front. It's totally up to you. We're going to do a little bit of stretching through the lower back and opening up through the hip today. So just placing the hands just on the knees, palms facing up or facing down, whichever feels more comfortable. And from here, I just want you to lean it forward with the chest. And then you're going to circle it clockwise backwards. So you're just going to pull that belly in and lean it forward with the inhale. As you exhale, scoop it back. So we're just starting to mobilize through the middle, into the hip area. Don't worry how big or small those circles are. And then we're just going to reverse it, so into the opposite direction for me. Breathing in as you come forward and exhaling as you take it back. Relaxing through those shoulders. Just letting go of anything that happened this morning that no longer serves you. And just bring it back into center for me. So just to give ourselves a few minutes, I want you to place those hands just facing upright. If you want to, you can bring the thumbs and first two fingers together, you don't have to, and just close those eyes for me. Let's just give a gentle breath here. Breathing in, and big breath out. Just let the shoulders come away from the ears. Breathing in and breathing out. Just let the whole body relax. And just take this time for yourself. And then when you're ready, just open those eyes back up for me. And if you're not already sitting cross-legged, if that feels comfortable, draw yourself into this cross-leg position. I just want you to place your hands made into a basket under one of the legs, just below the knee area. And as you inhale, exhale to press that knee down and pull up with those hands. So we're just giving an active stretch to the outside of that hip. So you're pressing down with the leg as you pull up with the hands for me. And we're going to hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just release it down. So you might find that that hip drops slightly. If it doesn't matter. So let's take it again. Inhale. And as you exhale, press down as you pull up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just release. Just let it relax. We're going to cross the legs in the opposite direction. So you're going to bring the other one forward for me. Placing the hands underneath that opposite leg now then. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, press down with the leg as you pull up with those hands. Doesn't have to be a big pull, doesn't have to be a big press. Just giving that active stretch here for 4, 3, 2, 1. Just release, just let that hip go. One more then, inhale here. And as you exhale, press down as you pull up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just release it down. And whilst we're in this position, let's just bring the hands forward for me. Just walk them out slightly and just let those shoulders fall over the knees, just creating a little bend in that back, releasing any tension that's there. Shoulders are heavy, chin's tucked in, slight stretch in that neck. Maybe a little bit of tension in the top of the hip. And as you inhale, just use the hands to bring yourself back upright. Now if you do find that that one is a little bit uncomfortable as you lean forward, you can always take the feet apart and just lean yourself here. Bring a pillow in front, whichever you feel comfortable with. Otherwise, let's turn around, place the soles of the feet on the floor for me. Extend the arms out and slowly roll it back to the floor. So pulling the belly in as you go, scooping it in, all the way back down. Until the shoulders touch the mat. Just let them relax here. Walk those feet a little bit closer to the bum for me. So making sure then that the knees and ankles stay in the same direction. As you inhale, you're slowly going to peel that spine off the floor to bring yourself up into a bridge. So keeping the ribs low, pressing into the feet. And then as you exhale, slowly roll it back down. So just feeling a nice massage through the back as it comes down onto the mat bit by bit. And we're back to the floor. Once more then, inhale, slowly peel it up. Roll that spine up. Just check the knees and ankles still come in the same direction. Try not to let them fall in or fall out. Right to the top of the move. And then slowly and carefully roll it back down for me. Just scooping that belly. Just get that lower back onto the floor. And then just relax it here for me. Just giving yourself a little bit of a shuffle around if you need to, just to make yourself feel nice and comfortable. 2 more breaths here then. Just going to take the feet to the outside edge of the mat for me and just let those knees fall in, just let them fall together. And just relax it here. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And then we're just going to bring the feet to hip width apart once more. Knees point back up and just draw those knees into the chest. Up them in nice and tight. And then when you're ready, roll it up to seated. If you need to give yourself a little bit of assistance, that's fine. So from here, take the feet then about hip width apart, toes point to the front of the mat. We're just going to bring our hands underneath our thighs here and just cross the arms if you want to. You can bring them in a little bit closer if it's too uncomfortable at hip width apart. And then all you're going to do is lean the chest towards the thighs and just let that head drape over the top. So just feeling a stretch in that back. Concentrating on the breath here. You don't need to be in any fancy shapes to get a good stretch. Relax it through the shoulders for me. I'm going to take a few breaths here. Breathing in and breathing out. And then when you're ready, keeping the chin tucked, let's just roll ourselves back up, and as you come up, the chin lifts, gazes forward, just placing the hands just down underneath the shoulders or slightly behind, depending on how you feel. Fingers can point in whichever direction is comfortable for you, and just press down through the palms, opening up through the chest here. So gazes forward, shoulders away from the ears. 2 more breaths then. Try not to hold your breath on any of these. And just release it. Bring those hands back around in front of the shins. Just draw those feet close together. And all you're going to do now is slowly roll it back onto the shoulders. And then slowly roll it back onto the sitting bones. So staying up nice and tall. Slowly roll it back. Slow and controlled. Pull in with those abdominals to bring you back up. Try not to use the roll. We've got 2 more then. Slowly roll it back, shoulders, back fine. From here, you're going to extend the feet out, keep that belly pulled in. If that's too much, you can drop the hands behind you. You can just hold behind the thighs. So you can stay here, you can extend the arms out and just tap the toes, one at a time. Roll it back down one more time. Bring it back up to seated, feet come to flat on the floor. And from here, you're just going to transfer yourself around to bring yourself into that tabletop position. So wrists under shoulders, knees underneath the hips, fingers are spread. And on the inhale, dip the back, lift the chin into the heart. Exhale, round through that back, chin pulls into chest, belly pulls in, press down through the palms into cat. Inhale forward. Exhale round. Inhale. And exhale. Two more then. Inhale. And exhale. Last one. Returning yourself back into that regular tabletop, you're going to push the weight of the band back towards that right heel, over to the left and then forward. So just circling with those hips. Doesn't matter how small or large that circle is. Just noticing any points of tension in the body. So you're inhaling forward and exhaling back. And let's just reverse that back to clockwise direction to anti-clockwise. And bringing it back into centre for me then, back into that tabletop position before tucking the toes and coming into downward facing dog for me. So if it's uncomfortable to have both those legs straight, or if you feel that you can't get both of them straight, you can always bend the one. So bending that right knee if you want to, aiming to straighten up that left leg. Again, don't worry if it doesn't straighten completely, it doesn't matter. But you might find it slightly more attainable to have one bent and one straight. And then as you inhale, let's switch sides. So my right one's now straight and the left one's bent. Once more to each side then. Right bends as left straightens. And last time. And bringing it back to centre, so you can either keep both a little bit soft, aiming to flatten out the back, press the heels down, fingers are open. Whichever feels good for you today. Just breathing in through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Hips stay high, belly stays pulled in. So from here, let's drop it back down into that tabletop position. So once more then, checking that those knees are under the hips and wrists are under the shoulders. We're going to give a little bit of a stretch to that hip flexor. So step that right foot forward for me, right knees over the right ankle as that left knee inches back until you can feel that stretch in that left top of the hip. So from here, you can either keep the hands on the floor or you can bring them just above the knee for me. So gaze is forward and just concentrate on sinking it into that hip. Try not to hold your breath, rooting down through that right foot. Chest stays lifted, shoulders are relaxed. And then when you're ready, just bring the hands back to the floor if they're not already there. Back that stretch off a little bit to allow you to step that right foot back. So just make sure those hips are under the, knees are under the hips once more before stepping that left foot forward. Left knee above the left ankle. Slide that right one back until you feel that stretch in the hip. And hands stay to the floor. or they can come just above that knee. Try not to press on any joints. So sinking it into that hip for me. Gazes forward. Feeling the stretch in the hip flexor, possibly into the TFL. 2 more breaths here then. And then when you're ready, just back that stretch off as the hands come to the floor and you step that left foot back. So we're back into that tabletop position. From here we're going to sit it back onto the heels. Now if that is too uncomfortable, you can stay on the knees already, whichever you choose. Bring the hands to the heart in whichever position you're in. From here, if you're not already on the knees, come up onto the knees, and if you're on the knees, lift the hands above the head. As you exhale, come into child's pose. So slide those hands across the mat, push the bum back to feel a stretch through the whole of the back. Inhale into tabletop, pressing down through those palms. Tuck the toes and come into downward facing dog for me. So lifting those hips nice and high, remembering if you need to, you can bend the knees. From here, drop it back into that tabletop position, untuck the toes. Sit it back into child's pose as the hands stretch across the mat. From here, come up onto the knees, hands come up overhead, really reaching up, lifting through the chest. And then bring the palms together as you either stay on the knees and bring them to the heart or sit it back onto the heels, your choice. So we're going to go one more then. Inhale it up, arms come up overhead. Exhale to child's pose for me. Hands slide across the mat. Inhale to tabletop. Tuck the toes and exhale into downward facing dog. Drop it back into tabletop and tuck those toes. Slide the hands out as you sit the weight back into child's pose. From here, inhale it up onto the knees, hands reach up towards the ceiling. And then hands come to heart as you stay on the knees, or you sit it back onto the heels, whichever you feel comfortable with. So we're going to stay sat back onto the heels or on the knees, whichever you want to. Take the arms out to the sides for me, and you're going to drop that left hand towards the floor as the right one rises up. Now if again you can't quite reach the floor, just rest the hands onto something just to give you that little bit extra lift. It doesn't have to be a yoga block, it can be whatever you've got around. So gaze up to that right hand for me. From here, bring both hands back onto the thighs then. Let's inhale to take them to the sides. Twist to the right. Right hand comes down. Left hand reaches up. So giving a slight twist through that spine here and also giving a stretch into the quads. So into those thigh muscles. Both hands back down to the thighs for me before coming back into that tabletop position. And then from here, take that right arm out to the side, thread it underneath that left one to bring the right shoulder down to the mat, just to give a little twist around that torso area. You can either keep that hand exactly where it is on the left, or you can stretch it out in front of you. Or if you're feeling a little bit more flexible today, bring that left hand round and rest it on the right side of the waist. Giving ourselves a little bit of a half bind here as well, and if you're resting that hand on the waist. Hips stay high. And then when you're ready, let's return ourselves back into that tabletop position for me then. Just check the wrists are under the shoulders, knees under hips. Left arm goes out to the side, threading it underneath that right. Left shoulder comes down, right hand can stay where it is. Stretch out in front, where it can come to rest on the back of that waist. Now you can either stay with the eyes open, or you can just close them and just concentrate on the breath. As you breathe in yourselves back into that tabletop position. And then from here, just going to slide the arms out to bring yourself down onto the mat. So you're going to keep the forearms and the palms pressing down into the mat for me. Elbows are underneath the shoulders and the arms are about shoulder width apart. So you should feel a slight little tightness in the base of the back here in Baby Cobra. So the gaze is forward and down. Just taking the time to concentrate on the breath. So we're staying with the hands exactly where they are, and we're going to draw that right knee up. Now, no higher than that right hip. And if it only comes up a little way, that's absolutely fine. I want you to concentrate on keeping the hips facing down. So wherever you need that knee to be, wherever it is, take the foot to the outside edge of the knee. So if you were to look down towards the knee, you should be able to see the little toes poking out. And then you're going to keep those hips facing down. Now, if you don't want to stay on the forearms, you can bring the head down to the back of the hands and just relax it here. So what we're aiming to do here is open up through the groin, inner thigh, around the hip area. So trying to keep those hips facing down for me. So don't pull that knee up too high. And if you are feeling really flexible today, make sure you don't take it up any higher than the hip. And the foot needs to be on the outside edge of that knee. So we're into one-legged frog here. Just relaxing it down, either on the back of the hands or staying with those arms in Baby Cobra position or Sphinx, whichever you know it as. And then when you're ready, if you're not already on your forearms, bring yourself back up to the forearms as you slide that right leg back. Just reposition yourself on your mat. And let's draw that left knee up then again. No higher than the hip. The foot comes to the outside edge of the knee. Keeping the hips facing down. Staying on the forearms. Or bringing yourself back down to that mat. Just for a little relax here. So if you're on the back of the hands, just let those shoulders relax. Concentrate on keeping the hips facing down. Breathing in through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Once more, return to the forearms if you're not already there, and slide that left leg back for me then. So thighs are nice and relaxed, fronts of the feet graze the mat, palms and forearms are in contact with the floor, and there's a slight squeeze to that lower back for me. Breathing in and breathing out. Just try and relax through the shoulders. Back up into tabletop before sitting it back into child's pose, just to reverse that back bend for me then. So press that bum back towards the heels, let the arms stretch out. If you need to take the knees to wide on the mat, that's absolutely fine. Or you can keep them narrower, totally up to you. Inhale it back up into that tabletop position before tucking the toes and coming back into downward facing dog. So again, remembering you can bend the knees if you need to. Aiming to flatten out the back, fingers are open, palms pressed down. Hips are nice and high. you're just going to jump, walk or step the feet through to the front of the mat for me. When you're there, bend the knees a lot to bring the bum back down to the mat for me. So extending those feet out in front, or if it's more comfortable, leave them flat on the mat. So you can roll it all the way back down. So sucking that belly in as you go, placing that spine down onto the mat for me. Just letting the arms relax by the sides. Just walk the heels a little bit closer towards the bum. Bring the inside edges of the feet together. And just let the knees fall open to bring the soles of the feet together. So we're into a bound angel variation here. Placing the right hand on the belly and the left hand on the heart. Just concentrating on the breath. As you breathe in, the belly rises. And as you breathe out, the belly falls. Just concentrating on the breath. And the next time you exhale, slide those legs out so they're nice and straight on the mat. Feet falling open. You can either leave the hands where they are, or you can place them by the sides, palms facing up, and bring yourself into Savasana. And just closing the eyes here. Just letting yourself sink into the mat as your breath starts to deepen. Breathing in and breathing out. Shoulders and hips become heavy. Jaw softens. Just letting go of anything that might have happened this morning. Breathing in and breathing and then staying with the eyes closed, start to bring your awareness back to your body, from the top of your head all the way to the toes, which you can move, and you can wiggle the fingers. Just beginning to bring your breath back to its natural rhythm as you breathe in and breathe out. And then when you're ready, open up the eyes and slowly bring yourself up to seated for me. And once you're up, you can then stretch those feet out in front, or you can cross the ankles, whichever you feel more comfortable with. Just sit yourself up nice and tall. We're going to place the hands down behind us. Just press into the mat as the shoulders come away from the ears and the chest opens. So gaze is forward for me. Breathing in and breathing out. And as you exhale, hands come in front one more time. And we just give a bend to that back, just to release any final tension that may be left there. the shoulders fall away from the ears. And with the eyes closed, just draw a circle with the nose clockwise. Just releasing any tension in that neck. And just take it in the opposite direction for me, anti-clockwise. And then bringing it back into still. Staying with the eyes closed. Just bring your attention to the sounds around as you breathe in and breathe out. And then when you're ready, on your next exhalation, open up the eyes, bring the hands to the heart. Namaste. Thank you for joining us this lunchtime, and we'll see you all again next week, either on Tuesday night at 6 o'clock or on Wednesday at 12:30. But until then, stay safe,